Okay. Yes, I forgot to record. Thank you, Jashan. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, back to the question. If I forget, please let me know. All right. And then the acceleration will be, okay, formula is final velocity minus initial velocity over time. Okay, when I write this formula out, right, I would like to take this chance to remind you again of what is this definition. You look at the formula. On top, we take the change of the velocity. At the bottom, if it's t, usually we can say rate of change. Okay, so it's rate of change of the velocity. So if I ask you, define acceleration. Acceleration is the rate of change of the velocity. Okay, right. So v is 0.75, u is 2.25. The time, okay, so the time for acceleration is usually the troublemaker, right? Because that one is the tricky bit. A lot of students might probably take like 1, 2, okay, I shouldn't use this. We have 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 tick, 4 tick, 5 tick, 6 tick, 7 tick. Okay, if you take 7 tick, then salah already. Okay, you have to take only 6 tick. You can remember it by -1. Okay, you can remember it by -1. We have gone through why we have to -1 last week. Or you can think of it as 1, let me use another color. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete ticks. At the front, we take half only. At the back, we take half only. Okay, to those of you who weren't here last week, I hope you watched the recording already, but if you haven't, the U, right, is basically in the middle one. The V also is basically in the middle one, right? Yeah, we cannot say that the U is at the front or the U is at the back. Not fair like that. Okay, so we always take U and V in the middle. That's why we only count half in front, half behind. Half you minus off, therefore overall you have to minus out 1. Huh? So the final answer for this should be negative 12.5 meter per second squared. Units, make sure correct. Okay, yours could either be in cm per second or meter per second, as long as you write out the unit correctly. Okay, so this one. Negative value for acceleration means slowing down. Okay, you can see the gap getting smaller and smaller, slowing down. Okay, next one. The longest tape, okay, you have to look at the x-axis here, right? This is talking about time. Hold on. Do we always need to keep it in meter? Don't need. cm also can. Okay, so actually, right, in SPM, they like to ask this in objective questions sometimes, right? And you see like your objective questions got options on, right? A, B, C, D. Okay, A, B, C, D. So if you see the options is cm per second, all in cm1, then don't need to go and change to meters lah. Okay, I prefer meter just because meter is SI unit. Okay, I prefer meter just because it's SI unit. cm everything is fine also. Okay, cm is all good as long as you can get the correct one, right? As long as you can get the correct one. Welcome. Okay, so U is the first part, which is here. V is the last part, which is here. Okay, you look at the time. That means this part of the strip goes into the ticker timer first. This part of the strip goes into the ticker timer last. Okay, and remember, if you want to analyze using a ticker tape chart, each tape or each strip should have the same number of ticks. Okay, cannot one tape a bit longer, one tape a bit more ticks, one tape a bit less. Then you cannot analyze really, right? We want to see overall. Got how many ticks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each strip here has got 10 ticks. Huh? Don't count the dots. Huh? The dots would be 11. Okay, you see I count the space between the ticks. Right? The dot is 11, but the ticks is 10 only. So our U will be what? 9 cm. You can, okay, maybe this time for a change, I'll do both. I'll do in cm and in meters. If it's cm, it will look like this. Over the time is 10 ticks and each tick is 0.02. This is in seconds. Huh? this is 45 cm per second. Okay, if you are doing in meter, your answer will be 0.45 meter per second. Okay, either one, both also can. Right, then the V is the last part. Okay, which is 1.5 cm. Although you cannot count how many ticks, but they won't analyze different number of ticks. Remember that. So each strip must be a same number of ticks. If one strip is 10, another strip is 20, like that, you won't be able to analyze the motion. Huh? So that would be 10 times 0.02 as well. And you have 7.5 cm per second. Okay, or 0.075 meter per second. Last one is acceleration. Acceleration is, I'll do two versions, okay? One version is the CM one. Oh, my bad. V first up. V minus U over, let's count got how many strips? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 6 strips. Okay, should I count all 6 strips? No. Okay, you must remember that the U, right, only start from the middle of the strip. The V, right, is actually at the middle here. Okay, we cannot say that the U is at here or at here. Not fair, right? Because the space actually keep changing on as you go on. That's why we have different length of the strips. So remember, U and V must be in the middle. Okay, so you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then half in front, half behind. So that will be 5. Okay, or you take a total of 6 minus 1 also can. 5, huh? 5. I got 5 of the strip. And okay, each strip is like this, 10 times 0.02. I got 5 of this, right? Each strip is this. Okay, each strip is this. I got 5 strips, so times 5. You write the times 5 in front, behind, it doesn't matter. Your answer would be negative 37.5. This is cm per second squared. Okay, so in cm, no problem. In meter, no problem. Can. If it's in meter, right, you can actually convert this one also at the end into meters, right? Just change cm to meter by dividing it by 100. So negative 0.375. Okay, so either one, no? Both also good. Okay, they are both good. Let me know when I can move on. Let me know when I can move on, yeah. Okay, to those of you who did it already, very good, just to check answers. Don't understand anything, please let me know. Huh? Can I move on? Done? Done, everybody. Okay, thanks, Jashan. Thanks, Trisha. Okay, thanks, Zach Daniel. Okay, I move on. Example, if not done, then you can type no in the chat. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Then you can type no if you're not done. Okay, example 1.6. Let's have a look at this question. In an experiment to study the motion of a trolley rolling down a runway, so meaning you have like a runway sounds very fancy, but it's really just like maybe you have a plywood, a piece of wood, and then you have some bricks here or some books, right? And then you let your trolley roll down like that. Okay, so you can imagine that as it rolls down, right, I think it will get faster and faster. So that's probably going to be our motion, right? That's probably going to be our motion where it accelerates. Okay, get faster means accelerate, right? So rolling down runway, a ticker tape as shown in the diagram is used. A ticker timer used vibrates at 50 cycles per second. Okay, they can say 50 times per second, 50 cycle per second. Last week we have gone through. That means that it's gonna go, you can think of it as on and off for 50 times in 1 second. So that's really fast. Okay, and part A, they ask you, what type of electric current used to operate the ticker timer? Okay, maybe is used to operate the ticker timer. Okay, that would be two types only. I taught you two types only. Is it alternating current or direct current, right? So a direct current, think of it as a battery. Okay, alternating current, think of it as all your normal switch. Okay, those are alternating current. So direct current, what will happen if you connect it to a ticker timer? It will just dot, and then it won't come up. It will turn on like that only. Alternating will turn on, off 50 times 1 second. Okay, so simple answer, alternating current. Okay, if they want to ask you in your first exam, it's going to be, can be this kind of question that can come out in your exam. Next one, starting from the first printed dot, the tape is cut into 6 strips, each with 5 dot spaces. 5 dot spaces means 5 of the space, right? Meaning got 5 ticks up. Okay, 5 ticks, not 5 dots. 5 dots is 4 ticks. Okay, 5 dots is 4 ticks. 5 dot spaces is 5 ticks. Okay, what time interval do the 5 dot spaces on the tape indicate? Okay, if 5 dot spaces, we can use this one. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, each of the strip will have 5 ticks. So they are just asking you 5 dot spaces means what? Means 5 times 0 0.02. 1 tick is 0 0.02. 5 is times 5. Okay, if the length of the first strip, that means the first part, right, is 3 cm, what is the average velocity of the trolley? Okay, just for the first part. So first part meaning it will give you the initial velocity. Initial means the velocity at the beginning, right? The distance is 3 cm, or again, you want to use, okay, in cm per second. Now this one is specified. So if they specify what is the unit, make sure to follow. If you don't follow, you will lose marks, right? So we just do 3 cm, okay? And we know each strip, the first strip is going to be 0.1 second only. So you can write 5 times 0.02 if you are used to that, okay? You can also straight away put 0.1 because you have calculated in part 1 already. Okay, you can just put it in. So each strip later on, if you want to calculate, you can just use this time. Okay, so that would be 30 cm per second. Okay, I purposely put space on the right side for you to write on. Okay, so you can agak-agak lah the space here. Okay, it's all for this question. Part C, the 6 strips of ticker tape are then pasted side by side as shown in the diagram below. From the form of the charts, what can be said about the velocity of the trolley along the entire length of the runway? Okay, so they're asking you, what can we say about the velocity? Just by looking at the chart, okay, just by looking at the form of it. Anybody, you want to give it a try now? What can we say about the velocity? So you can see, right, in this big table here, similar to which one? Okay, it's quite similar to which one? Then you can describe. hold on. Then you can describe, yeah, yes, very good. Thanks, Yuan. Yes, very good. Thanks, Teresa. You can use, Teresa, you can use the public chat so that everyone can see your answer, unless you are shy. Okay. I think I got internet problem just now. I think you guys might hear my voice got cut off for a short moment. I froze for a while. Okay. Okay, so I was just asking everybody what is the characteristics. You can say velocity increase at constant rate or it has uniform. Eh? It doesn't have uniform velocity. Yes, velocity increases uniformly is correct, but uniform velocity is incorrect. Okay, so Teresa told me that it's uniform velocity. Good try, good try. So this is the time that I know, you guys could make this mistake also. That's why it's good that I get feedback from you guys, or else I'll just give you all the correct answers. So remember that uniform velocity is not the same as velocity increase uniformly, not the same. So the correct answer is the velocity increases uniformly. Okay, you can bracket down here, right? This is your own notes. Okay, uniform acceleration. You can, that's correct. Zach, Daniel. Do you prefer me to call you Zach or Daniel? you have two like main name in your name. Zach, okay, Zach. Yeah, Zach is a good name, nice name. Okay, the velocity increases uniformly. Uniform acceleration is correct, but they are asking us to describe about the velocity. So I think for this case, I would want to describe the velocity. Okay. In other question, if they ask you for the motion, you can talk about the acceleration as well. All right. So increases uniformly. Down here, you can state not uniform velocity. Because, yeah, I'm going to explain that real quick. Jashan asked me the difference between velocity increase uniformly and uniform velocity. So velocity increase uniformly means the velocity will keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, increasing. Okay, uniform velocity means what? The velocity is the same value only. Okay, the velocity is the same value only. So maybe like, I like to use this example, right? Last week also I used this example. You see in your parents' car and the speedometer is just at one value only. Okay, it's just at one value only, maybe like at 30 km per hour. So it's going at the same speed. Okay, it's not getting faster, it's not getting slower. Okay, you can see that if the street get longer and longer and longer, you are getting faster and faster and faster, right? So I don't think so that is constant speed. I don't think that is constant velocity or uniform velocity. Okay, so uniform velocity means like constant speed. The speed is fixed, right? You know the speed at the front or the velocity at the front and the velocity at the back, different, right? Different values. That tells you that it's not constant. Okay, so again, this is your own set of notes. Later on, when you want to study for exam, you're going to refer back to here. So write whatever notes you want on here, highlight whatever. It's your own notes. Okay. All right. So that is part C. Constant acceleration is correct also. Okay, but we want to describe the velocity. So I think I don't want to talk about the acceleration just yet. Okay, later on, there are some questions which we can write acceleration. Okay, Zach. Can I Jashan? All right, D, calculate the average velocity of the trolley during the complete motion down the runway. Okay, maybe I can add one more word for this question so that it becomes more clear. Average velocity during the complete motion down the runway. That means they want the entire journey down the run. Calculate the average velocity of the trolley during the... Okay, so maybe you can highlight now, complete motion down the runway means for the entire journey. Okay, don't get confused now. Because if you read the question, you cannot tell if they're asking just the front part or just the back part, right? They're asking for the whole thing, right? The complete motion down the whole runway. So we're looking for the average velocity for the whole journey. Okay, for the whole journey. So the answer for average velocity, why do they use the word average? Because the velocity at here, each strip, they are different. Okay, we are looking for overall the average value, right? So please don't say it's just this one plus 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 this one. You get 6 of the velocity and divide by 6. It doesn't work that way. Okay, it doesn't work that way. You have to do the total distance, or in this case, we can use displacement divided by the total time. Okay, and if you think of it, actually, right, this strip is an extremely long strip. And then they can cut like that. Right? So we are actually just looking for the average velocity for the entire long strip. So if you connect back the strips together, what is the velocity? That's what they're asking for the whole strip. Okay, so originally it's one long strip. The total displacement would be 3 cm plus 6 cm plus 9 cm plus 12 cm plus 15 cm plus 18 cm. Correct? Because here is 3 cm. So like the first part is 3 cm. Then the second part is 6 cm. The third part is 9 cm. The fourth part is 12 cm. So you add all the distance up together. That is how much your trolley has traveled, right? Then you divide by the total time. Okay, so the total time is like this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 strips. Earlier in part B1, we have calculated that one strip is 0.1 second. Okay, one strip is 0.1 second. So six of the strips would be 6 times 0.1 second. On top is in cm, by the way. At the bottom is in seconds. Right? Do I have to minus 1? The answer is no. Why? Because this is not acceleration. Right? Acceleration, we minus 1 because we cut at the front and at the back into half. Do I have to do this or not for velocity? Don't need, right? So don't go and minus 1. This is not acceleration. Minus 1 only for acceleration. Okay, remember that? And then the top part, we have in total 63 cm. Okay, the bottom is 0.6 second. I'll get 105 cm per second. Nothing wrong with this answer. You want, you can also write divide by 100, become 1.05 meter per second. Okay, one is in SI unit lah, another one is just in cm per second. Both also correct. If they never mention which unit to use, they cannot mark you wrong. Both also correct in SPM. How did I get 6 times 0.1? Okay, because the total time is what? The total time is what? All the strip, right, connect together. Earlier we calculated it. You see in part B1, what is the time interval for the 5 dot spaces on the tape? Okay, so each strip got 5 dot spaces. Each strip has 0.1 second. That's what we calculated. So in here, right, each strip will record a time of 0.1 second, and I got 6 of the strips. So times 6 lah, Sandra. Okay, you can also write like this 6 times. If you prefer this all, then you write like that lah. Okay, this one is for one strip, 5 times 0.02. You multiply by 6, that's for 6 strip. Can okay, okay, welcome. Last one, determine the acceleration of the trolley. So the first part, the U, we have already calculated in part B2. If you look up there, part B2. So I'm just going to bring this one come down here, okay, so that you can see. I'm not going to calculate again, no. I'm just going to write like that. And then the V for the final strip, can we use, Trisha, okay, can we use initial velocity and final velocity time formula? You mean for part D, is it? Yeah, that is for acceleration, Trisha. That's for acceleration, not for part D. Okay, part D, we're gonna do that. Okay. So U is 30 cm per second. V is equals to, take the longest strip. So the U is the first strip, V is the last strip. So V is going to be 18 cm divided by 0.1, 0.1 cm, because we know each strip is 0.1 cm. 0.1 seconds, sorry. 0.1 second. Then we will get 180 cm per second. The one cm, never mind, you can use meters, okay? Okay, but nothing wrong with cm one, to me, I prefer meter lah, because it's SI unit, but nothing wrong with cm. Okay, acceleration is, okay, let me write out the formula. V minus U over T, right? Final velocity, remember it's final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So V is 1.8, U is 0.3. The time is, now the time need to minus by 1 already. You have 6 strips in total. Okay, you just have to count for 5 strips will do. 5 strips. So 5 times each strip is 0.1, 0.1. Okay, who don't understand why I do 5 times 0.1? Please let me know now. Okay, very important, because in exam you need to make sure that you minus 1. If you don't understand why I need to minus 1, please let me know. Okay, or else I'll assume that you are all okay. If you attended last week's lesson and you were listening, I think should be okay lah, because I explained many times already. I keep repeating the same thing. Okay, this is in meter per second squared. Oh, I could have done cm also. Okay, your working could look like this. They're both correct. Just do either one will do, huh? Okay, can. Let me know when I can move on. To those of you who are done, you can try to start answering the next example already. Okay, the next exercise 1.7. Okay, must let me know if you don't understand anything, or else I wouldn't know. The diagram shows the tapes which are collected from an experiment to examine the movement of a toy car using a ticker timer. Okay, a ticker timer is connected to AC current. Calculate the rate of vibration of the ticker timer. Oh, rate of vibration. This one don't need to calculate actually. It's just 50 times per second. You see, rate, right, usually means per timer, per second, per minute, per hour. That is usually rate. Okay. If we talk about rate of you driving, usually that means the speed lah. Okay, how fast you are driving. Usually rate is related to time, 50 times per second. So it vibrates 50 times per second, on and off for 50 times per second. The length of the tapes is getting shorter. What can be deduced from the movement of the toy car? Anybody? Now this is your chance. The movement of the toy car. So we have done earlier just now. That one is like a ladder going up. It's like a staircase going up. This one, the staircase is going down. So what can be said? What can be deduced from this motion? Part B. Deceleration, yes. Yeah, now you can use constant deceleration, right? I think deceleration not enough is actually constant, right? Yeah, so I think you know that because just now you told me earlier was constant acceleration. Jiashen told me velocity decreases uniformly. Yes, very good. Also correct. Velocity decreases at a constant rate. Also correct. Okay, all correct. Okay, yes, all correct. Very good. So you have two answers. You have two answers. You either write, if you want to write a full sentence, then be toy car experience constant deceleration. How I know it's constant, because each one here is minus 5 cm, minus 5 cm. The strips is keep getting shorter, shorter by 5 cm. And then you could also say, okay, I think you can write down both the answers. You could also say, yeah, it's fine. I already know you. Yeah, okay. Somebody sent me a wrong message. I straight away know it's not meant for me, it's meant for his friend or her friend. Okay, toy car, you guys wrote what? Constant toy car velocity decreases uniformly. Okay, uniformly. Or this one is the same meaning as velocity decreases at a constant rate. Okay, same meaning. This one is the same meaning as this one. You guys having Marintas Desa soon? I think it's gonna be in June, right? For most schools, if you guys are having Marintas Desa. Okay, so I think maybe you guys can write up here, right, in this table, that velocity increase at constant rate can also be velocity, same meaning as velocity increase uniformly. Okay, I think that's the shorter version, easier to remember. Oh, 1st July. Is Marintas Desa a good or bad thing for you all? 1st of July is Friday. Go at Friday, no need to go school, go and run on your. Good thing. Yeah. Courtney and Zach told me good thing, because 2 years don't have. Now you can finally, Teresa said no. Okay, now you can finally experience the sun. Okay, good, got vitamin D. Okay, add on this one into your notes. Velocity increases uniformly. Velocity decreases uniformly. Okay, right. Can you guys try part C on your own now? Okay, can you guys try now? So the first part will give you your initial velocity, the U. The back part will give you the V. Okay, the back part will give you the V. So that is the part C1 and part C2, the two things that they're asking for. And then part 3, they're asking for the A. Right? Can you go and find those three things? U, V, and A. I give you 1 minute, you just try. Whether you have done or not, later on I will explain. I'll start to explain. Or I'll just write down my answer now. Nothing much to explain, to be honest. Again, this one, each strip got 10 ticks. Don't wait for me, try yourself. Okay. To those of you who got your answer, you want to share, you can share to me. No? Okay. Never mind, I get it. U is going to be 7 cm, 7 cm divided by 10 ticks off. So 10 times 0.02. Okay, you want to write 0.07 also can, in meters that would be. Yeah, yes, you're right. So 0.35 meter per second or 35 cm per second. Dua-dua pun boleh. Okay, part 2, final velocity. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Teresa. Okay, both correct, both correct. 0.1 meter per second or 10 cm per second. Okay, both also can. Last one. Last one, maybe I write down here, since down there got space. This one got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 strips, but you count only 5 off. Okay, 5 strips. And then each strip got how many? Okay, wait, let me count. Each strip got how many? We have 0.02 times 10, or 10 times 0.02. Okay, that will be in seconds, so meter and second. Okay, let me count and see. I get, Justin, I got a slightly different answer. Yeah, Teresa, I got the same as you. So mine is either negative. Did you accidentally divided by 6 strips? Yeah, Justin, remember the minus one, acceleration. So now in class, if you realize you are someone who easily forget that part, right? Then you go to your this part of the chapter here. You can use red pen, blue pen, whatever, a colorful pen, and then you remind yourself that acceleration must always minus 1. Yeah, remember last week? Okay, so that next time you do revision, you remember, oh yes, acceleration always have to minus 1. Okay. Okay, so that is in meter per second. Oh, sorry, this is okay, in meter per second squared, or um, those of you who did CM, this would be it. Okay, all good. Common mistakes would just be forget to minus 1. Yeah. So they are very bad one in the objective question. They will give you one answer, A, B, C, D, right? Let's see if it's objective question, SPM. One of the answer usually is to trap those students who forget to put minus 1. Okay, so don't fall into that trap. All right. Okay, for 1.8, can I leave this for you as homework? Okay, I almost wanted to write try it at home, but you guys are all at home. Homework. Okay, so we'll discuss this next class. Okay, 1.8. It's not very difficult, simple one. Okay, so you can see based on 2 questions, right? The last 2 questions. I'm preparing for exam already, you know. So last 2 questions, you can see that what are the questions do they ask for ticker tape? What type of current? Okay, next one, what type of motion, right? What type of motion? You can talk about either the acceleration or the velocity, correct? Is it like constant acceleration, constant deceleration, or is it velocity increase, got increase or decrease or not? Okay, if you see a stairs like that, that means the speed or the velocity keep changing, right? So cannot be uniform velocity, right? Remember that. Okay, increase or decrease, right? 1.8 homework, I'll discuss this next class. Let you try yourself. I will want to do 1.9. Okay, 1.9. So if those of you who are waiting in class, you can quickly do this, then your homework don't need to do it. Yeah. Okay, 1.9. The diagram shows a ticker tape of a trolley which is moving up an inclined plane. The direction of motion of the tape is indicated above the diagram. Calculate the acceleration of the trolley. Okay, so this is the direction. Remember, we are used to seeing the arrow here, right? So if the arrow is here, meaning this part goes in first, this part goes in last, okay? Which means here will contribute to your U. Yeah, I'm so sorry. 1.8, wait. 1.8, do as homework, 1.9. Oh yeah, I thought this was the homework, sorry. Okay, the front part is the U, the back part is the V, okay? And then we're asked to calculate the acceleration. So for your U, right, you see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks, 5 ticks. So you can put 0.09 meters, or 9 cm also can, divided by 5 ticks. So 5 ticks means it is 5 times 0.02 seconds. Okay. Zero 0.9 meter per second. Okay, or you can do 90 cm per second also can. Okay, 90 cm per second also can. And then for the V, it is this back part lah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. 0.09, 0.04 meters divided by 5 times 0.02 seconds. Okay, make sure you try to get this yourself. You should get 0.4. Okay, or 40 cm per second. The acceleration is where it becomes a bit interesting. Okay. Right, so it's going to be V minus U divided by the time. But Does anyone want to give a guess of what the time could be? Because right down here, they wrote that the time is 2 seconds, right? I know for a fact that if I put 2 seconds, confirm wrong one. Because acceleration must always cut in front half, behind half. Okay, so that being said, 100 ticks or 2 seconds. Okay, because 50 ticks is 1 second. That being said, what is the time I should put here? Anyone? I cannot put. Zach said 2 over 100. How come? The whole thing is 2 seconds. Oh. The whole thing is 2 seconds. Oh. You actually need the time for the entire thing, right? That's why usually we add up, like let's say we have a chart, right? We will add up all the time and then minus 1. 9 ticks times 0 0.02. Sherwin said 9 ticks times 0 0.02. You are actually very close. Do you mean 9 strips? 9 ticks? No, it's actually okay. Let me break it to you. Again, let me break it to you. So do you remember that? So this one actually tests you on your understanding. You can even say that this is slightly k-bar for the acceleration part. Okay, a bit k-bar for the acceleration part. Do you remember that I always mention the front part you need to cut into half, the back part you need to cut into half. So my question to you is the u, okay, is the velocity of 0.9 meter per second here? Or is it here? Or is it here? Right? The answer is it must be in the middle, right? Right in the middle. Because the length here, although we cannot really see with the naked eye, but the distance at the gap in front and behind a bit different one. Okay, because it keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, the gap, right? So when we find out the U and V, right, we're actually looking for the average of this strip of 5 ticks, right? So 0.9 is right in the middle. Here, V is also right in the middle. So in total got 100 ticks. In front, you want to minus off 2.5. Behind also, you want to minus off 2.5. So in total is 95 ticks. I repeat up. In front, am I right? You have 1, 2, and a half tick like that. Then here also 1, 2.5 tick like that. So in total, I need to minus off 5 ticks. Okay, I need to minus off 5 ticks because I only start counting from U until V only. That's why the acceleration always need to minus 1. And if you memorize it by minus 1, right, you may make a mistake here. Okay, you may make a mistake here, right? So this is 95 ticks times 0.02 seconds. Those of you who don't understand, please let me know. Okay, I'm expecting some of you to maybe don't get it. If you don't get, please let me know. I'll explain again. Okay, if you want to treat it as strips, also can. Okay, so some of you, okay, can I can explain again. Okay, let me try again. Let me explain again. So, Zach, you weren't here last week, right? Were you here last week? Oh, you were okay. So the oops, sorry, I forgot. Okay, the front part for you, right? I need to say that U is right in front or in the middle or here. Where can I say U is? Okay, this 0.9 meter per second, it is not at the front, it is not here. If it's here, then no problem. My acceleration, I start counting from the U until the V. Okay, but the thing is that U of 0.9, the velocity of 0.9 is in the middle of the strip. Okay, the V that you have calculated also is in the middle of this 5 ticks, it's in the middle of the strip. Your acceleration, right, is always start to count from the U up to the V1. Okay, your acceleration, the time is from U up to V1, right? That's why I cannot take 100 ticks. I cannot take 2 seconds. I cannot take the full one. We always have to minus something off. In this case, we are minusing 2.5 in front, 2.5 behind, which is 5 in total. 2.5 is 5. Huh? Okay. Another way of thinking of it would be you have 100 ticks, right? You can cut the strips into 5 ticks, 5 ticks, 5 ticks. In total, you will have 20 of the strips, okay? Because 100 ticks, let's say you want to cut each strip got 5 ticks, that would be 20 strips. That's it. Okay, 20 strips. So actually 100 tick is 20 strips, right? So for acceleration, you can also say you take 19 strip also can. Sandra, okay. Sandra also asked me how I got 95. Let me explain for the third time. Okay, let me try again. One more time. Okay, but it's expected. I know some of you might not get it. So if you don't get it, please listen to me once and for all. Okay, once and for all. Your 0.9, right? Your 0.9 meter per second for your U is not here. It's not here, but the middle. How come? Because the gap actually keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. As you go further and further back, the gap keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So when you find out the 0.9 meter per second, you are actually not looking for the velocity that is right here. Okay, you're actually looking for the velocity, the average velocity, average in the middle. Okay, in the middle. So U is here. When you find the V, right, you're actually looking for the velocity here. So with your naked eye, you cannot see the gap is different, but actually it's a bit different one, right? Because it's the gaps keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And by the 100 gap, right, it is that small, okay? It is this small. So when you calculate the V also for this five ticks, you're not looking for the velocity that is in the front or at the back. Okay, you're looking for the velocity, the average one in the middle. Okay, so can you all please draw a line like this down here? The acceleration has to be counted from U all the way until V. Okay, U all the way until V, which means in total at first I got 100 ticks. I need to minus off 2.5 in front, 2.5 behind. Because in front here I don't want to count. Don't count for acceleration. Okay, behind here I also don't count. Because you need to start counting from where U until V is. Can Sandra? Can good Anyone else? Don't know? Okay, if you really don't know, you try to look at it again. I think I've made it quite clear that U starts from where and V starts from where. Okay, so your acceleration, remember, is from U until V only. Don't count for acceleration, the front and the back part. Okay, I show you working here to count got how many ticks times 0.02. So actually only got 95 ticks. Okay, you don't want to write this working, can you straight write 95, can? So the final answer will become not a very nice answer, negative 0.263 meter per second squared, or some of you may write negative 26.3 cm per second squared. Okay, can yeah. So this question, that's why I purposely want to discuss. I didn't ask you to do. It looks like a normal question, but actually it's a bit K-but at the acceleration part. So it really tests you on, if you're someone who has been memorizing -1, -1, -1, if they ask something K-but like that, and you don't know that U actually is in the middle, and V also actually is in the middle, then your time you might get wrong already. Okay, because I know some students, they'll say, oh, 100 ticks, so I -1 would be 99 ticks. Okay, but that's incorrect lah. Okay, not minus 1 tick only for this case. Right? That's why I made it a point to explain to you why we minus 1. Okay. Can 1.10, right? Can you guys try as your homework as well? Okay, I'll discuss first thing next class. So far, 2 questions only lah. If you are waiting in class, right, for the rest, you can try the homework also. Then I think by the time the class ends, you probably already can finish. Okay, or you do it after class. Okay, I shall move on. Example 1.1, 1.11, sorry. Okay, the figure shows a ticker tape chart obtained from the motion of a trolley down an inclined plane. So if you're moving down an inclined plane, it's gonna get faster and faster. Okay, it's gonna get faster and faster. So each strip of a ticker tape contains 10 ticks. Important info is one. Each strip is 10 ticks. Huh? Okay, the ticker timer makes 50 ticks in 1 second. Okay, this is don't know how many times you have been asked this question, right? What type of power supply is used to run the ticker timer? Alternating current, right? If you still don't know this one, I don't know what to do with you. Right? So you see my point here is from my exercises, I believe in exam when you do also, it's something that you won't forget on if you have class with me. I don't think so you can easily forget lah. Okay, you can say alternating current power supply. Right, part B. What is the time interval for 1 tick on a ticker tape? Okay, if they want to be a bit mean, they can ask you to define what is 1 tick. Okay, 1 tick is the time duration between 2 consecutive dots. 1 tick is the time duration between 2 consecutive dots. So time interval for 1 tick, that is 0.02 seconds. Right? How to get 0.02? 1 second, I divide equally by 50 times on, off. Okay, that's why you get 0.02. Huh? Okay, what is the type of motion of the trolley? Okay, this one is a staircase going up. The velocity here and the velocity here confirm different. So we know what is confirmed out of the answer would be, there'll be constant velocity because velocity different, right? Your distance different. When you calculate the velocity, the value also different. Okay, unless all the strips is the same height, then okay, constant velocity. Okay, this one is velocity. Either you write velocity is increasing at a constant rate, or velocity is increasing uniformly, or you can also say it is constant acceleration or uniform acceleration. Uniform and constant is the same meaning. In physics, you will see they use constant and uniform a lot, but they are the same meaning one. Okay, so you can say constant acceleration. Okay, you can say velocity increase uniformly. Okay, increase at constant rate, all those, okay, up to you lah. I write one for acceleration and one for velocity. Okay, either one lah, either one. Constant acceleration or uniform acceleration also can. Just so you know, right, when your teacher mark your exam paper, physics, although it looks like there's a lot of calculations, but actually if you look at SPM questions or SPM paper, right, or trials paper, state paper, you'll notice that most of the marks actually is from explaining things. Okay, not so much on calculations. But you will still see in your practice that there's a lot of calculation, because through the calculation, that is when you can really understand how certain theory works also. All right, that's why it's important to know both, but just so you know, actually in exam got a lot of explanation. Okay, like this kind of things, not actually calculating. Right, so that's a misconception for a lot of students. They think physics is almost like a math subject. Well, kind of, but there's a lot of theory and explanation and understanding that goes behind what you do, right? So D, what is the average velocity shown by the first strip of the ticker tape? Okay, I think you know this. This is 4 cm or 0.04 meters first strip now, divided by each strip is 10 ticks. Okay, in this short paragraph here, they wrote each strip is 10 ticks, so 10 times 0.02. You should get 0.2 meter per second, or you can do 4 cm over, you get 2 cm per second. Okay. Lastly, not lastly, E, part E, second last one, total displacement of the trolley. Okay, total displacement of the trolley. So if you see the trolley at first travel for 4 cm here, and then 5 cm here, and then 6 cm here. So it's actually one long strip. It's actually one long strip. And then they go and cut, right? So at first it's 4 cm, and then 5 cm, and then 6 cm, and then 7, 8, 9, like that. So you add up all the strips together, that will give you the total long strip, and that would be the total displacement. Okay, total displacement. So all this will be in cm. Okay, why I wrote 2? Sorry, correction, this is 20. I think I said 20, but why I write 2? Yeah, 20 cm per second. Okay, down there, this one should be 39, 39 cm. You want to write 0.39 meters, okay? Acceleration of the trolley, okay? You have already found. Let's go and find out the V. Okay, V would be 9 cm or 0.09 meters divided by one strip got 10 ticks. That would be 0.45 meter per second. Okay, or 45 cm per second, so can. Then we can get acceleration already. The U value is this. The V value is this. The A, I need to use the U and V. Okay, so acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Okay, rate of change of velocity. So 0.45 minus 0.2. Okay, can somebody help me with the time? How many strips should I multiply? Each strip is 10 times 0.02. 5. Thank you, Jashin. 5 strips. Okay, because front we take half. The V is actually starting from here. The U is actually at here. So you start counting from here until here, until here, until here, until here, until here. Okay, we don't take the last part here. Okay, that's why it's 5. So if you want to simplify the top first and then the bottom, you can. Oh, it's just one. So 0.25 meter per second square. Okay, 0.25 meter per second square. while you all do, let me take a screenshot of your attendance. Okay, then can okay, can, no problem. So the homework one you try yourself. Okay, the homework one you try yourself. Right. Next one, linear motion equations. This is the next part of the first topic. First topic actually quite long. First topic actually quite long. Okay, I know a lot of students have trouble with this. When I ask them what is the problem with this, they'll probably say, teacher, I don't know when to use which formula. Okay, if that is your problem, don't worry, I'll solve your issue today. Okay, if you are someone who don't know which formula to use, because we have four, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't know which one to use every time you read the question, we will solve the issue here today. Huh? Okay, so because I know I think all of you have learned this in school already, and you have probably done it before. Okay, first of all, you have to know that there are 5 symbols that we are dealing with. 5 symbols. U is the initial velocity, okay, the velocity at the start. V is the final velocity, that one we know already. A is constant acceleration, right? So only if the acceleration is a fixed value, we can use it in our calculation, right? Because if your acceleration is a different value, then you won't be able to use this. Because why? This equation is called what? Equations of linear motion, only motion in a straight line, right? So if your velocity is getting, the rate of change of your velocity keep changing like crazy, okay? Sometimes you speed up really fast, sometimes you slow down really fast. Then if it's a different acceleration value, we won't be able to do it, okay? Constant acceleration. That means it's just one value. S is displacement or distance, okay? Sometimes they ask distance, displacement, similar meaning, you can use S. T is time, okay? T is time. So now that you know all 4 symbols, usually the one that people mix up at the start of in Form 4, right? The one that they mix up is U and V, right? Why they mix up? They forget which one is initial and which one is final, right? Remember I told you it's by alphabetical order one. So you do M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, look at these two. U comes first before V. U is the initial, the one at the beginning. V is the one at the end, the final velocity, right? If that is your issue, again, hopefully I solved the problem here. Sometimes you just don't know that this is your problem until you realize in your calculation you write U and V wrongly, right? If you write that wrongly, quite often then it's very wasted one, because that one is a simple thing. And before I explain this well, there's not much to explain, but before I go through these 4 equations, I want you to know something, right? If you look at all the equations just real quick, you will notice that all of it has got a U. All of it has got a U. In other words, for all the linear motion equation questions, you will always be able to tell what is your initial velocity. You will always be able to tell what is your initial velocity because you need it for all the equations, or else you cannot use the equation, right? So U is always there, and the other stuff could be missing. Okay, the other stuff here could be missing. Maybe V is missing, or A is missing, or S is missing, or T is missing, right? Each equation only has four of the symbols. Only has 4 of the symbols. You have 5 here, but each equation only has 4 of the symbols. Okay, and again, U is always there, right? Again, before I go on and explain this equation, there are some important terms. that I need you to know. Okay, the most important one is probably the first one. You can put a star, star, double star this, right? If they say stationary or resting, you see the word rest. You are sitting in a car, imagine. You are not moving. Does the speedometer, will the speedometer move or not? Or will it stay at zero? Confirm stay at zero lah, right? If you are not moving and then your speedometer move a bit scary, yeah? Okay, so if it's resting, always remember they could be referring to the start of the journey. That means the U, okay? The start of the journey, the U, the speed is zero. Or they could talk about maybe they drive, or maybe you're moving, and suddenly you are stopping. So what that means is the final velocity. So it could be initial or final, right? U or V. Resting means stop. Stop means no velocity. Velocity is zero. Remember that. If they mention return to the original position, it means the displacement is zero. Okay, how come? Imagine this is your starting point. Okay, you walk away, and then you come back to this starting point. What is the displacement? We know distance surely got value one, but displacement by definition is what? The displacement is the displacement is the shortest distance. Sorry, my mind cannot suddenly. Okay, displacement is the shortest distance between the starting point and the end point. So if your starting point and the end point is the same, displacement zero, right? The distance between the starting point and this end point, no distance at all, because you start and end at the same point. Okay, right? Yeah. So you see, as I teach, I keep explaining and repeating the definitions. So that is return to original position, constant and uniform velocity, then acceleration is zero, right? So imagine if you are having just the same speed, okay? Just the same speed. You are not speeding up, you are not slowing down. Acceleration means you are speeding up or you are slowing down. If you are just at the same speed, not speeding up, then acceleration would be zero. Constant speed, constant velocity, acceleration is zero, right? Now is when we look at the real deal. Which is on the four equations, which is at the four equations here. Okay, I know that a lot of students, they cannot remember this four. Okay, they say, teacher, I cannot remember. My question to you is, who told you you have to remember? Okay, if your teacher say you must memorize, that means your teacher must be really evil because, yeah, it is given. Yeah, Jashan told me, yes, it is given. So why you go and memorize? Why you go and damage your brain? And then you go and stress because I cannot remember the formula and then I don't know which formula to use straight away. Don't need, okay? I highly recommend before we start doing the questions here, go and write it down, these four formulas in a piece of small paper so that every time when you do, right, you just keep referring to the equations because it is given in SPM, it is given in exam, right? Unless your teacher suddenly say, okay, this exam, I don't want to give you all the formula. That one, up to your teacher. He or she wants to be evil like that. I cannot control, but SPM is given. So don't need to memorize one. Don't need to memorize one. Okay. And if you look at the first formula, right? The first formula, okay, they're all under number one because they are the same, right? So we know that acceleration is equals to v minus u over t. Okay. If you want to get this right, you just have to rearrange only. So A equals to V minus U over T. This is more about maths already. You can multiply the T go up, become AT equals to V minus U, right? You see this equation, how they write it is they make V the subject. They make V alone, subject means alone. So if you make V alone, all you have to do is just move U to the other side, right? So that you have U, positive U, minus U move over become positive U plus AT. Okay, V equals to U plus AT. That's how they get the equation. So you use either one, also can one. They are both same, right? They're both same. Although I said so confidently is given, right? There's one exception. Okay, don't be too excited too fast. There's one exception. This one not given. Okay, so you write down this one is not given in SPM. Okay, don't ask me why. It has been like that since 20 years ago. They just don't give this one. I don't know why. Just this number 3, right? They give all except for this. Okay, so and in SPM, sometimes they give you for number 1, right? The first formula, sometimes they give you this or this, but it doesn't matter, right? Because I said they are the same. So anyhow, that doesn't make a difference, lah, right? It's just number 3 that is not given in SPM. So next time when you open your formula sheet, right, the first thing you can do is you can write this formula down, no? Because usually it's not given one, right? But how to remember? That's the thing. If it's not given, I need a way to remember, right? Okay, I'm going to teach you. So everyone, I need your attention, okay? Because I'm going to teach you how to get something that's not given in SPM. So S is displacement, right? S is displacement. Am I right that velocity equals to displacement over time? It comes from this formula. Velocity equals to displacement over time. The velocity times time is equals to the displacement. Okay, so we know that velocity is, displacement is velocity times time. Or the more familiar formula will probably be distance equals to speed times time. Right, you learn in for PT3, you learn about this, right? Okay, speed. Sorry. my bad. Wait. D is on top. Okay, speed is distance divided by time. Okay, or in this case, we are dealing with velocity. So this is like the S here is like your velocity. The D here is like your displacement. Okay, so this is displacement. This is not speed. Displacement equals to velocity times time. I hope you can already see some resemblance, but how come their V, right, is this big thing and my V is just this small little v? Okay, it is because to find out the displacement of the entire journey, can I just take the velocity at the back or at the front? Or do you think it is fairer to consider all of it, to consider both of it? Definitely is more fair to consider the front and also the back, right? Then only we can get the displacement for the entire journey. So your V, right, you cannot just be doing the back, okay? Because V stands for the final velocity. But if you take the front one, also cannot. Okay, you take the front one only, also cannot. So what if I take both? What if I take both? But if I take both, I need to find out the average of both actually. So that's why you divide by 2. Okay, divide by 2 is the same as times half. Can or not? So that's why your displacement is equals to velocity times time. But the velocity, I don't just take u or don't just take v because it's not fair, right? I need to take u and v divided by 2 or 1 over 2 u plus v. That's why end up you have s equals to 1 over 2 u plus v t. Okay, if you don't want to, okay, very good, Teresa said you understand. If you don't want to remember it yourself, then you die memorize this formula lah, s equals to 1 over 2 u plus vt. Okay, I like to remember it just by displacement equals to the velocity times time, because velocity is displacement divided by speed, so you just times the t, s equals to v times t. The v I cannot take the front, cannot take the back. Okay, I take the average of both. Average, how to find one? Plus together divide by 2. Okay, like average is something you know how to find since primary school. Like if I ask you what is your average marks for your exam, you add up all together and then divide by how many subjects, right? So same concept. Now you have 2 things to add up and you divide by 2 only. If you don't divide by 2, that means you are taking 2 times of the velocity already. Cannot also. So you have to divide back by 2. Okay, so I'm just giving you ways to remember it, and it comes from here. The V is equals, this V, you don't take the front or the back, you take both, but you have to divide by 2. Okay, so right now, other than number 3, which you have to remember yourself, okay, for all the calculation questions under this one, I'm going to keep using this as a reference. Okay, so when I say formula number 1, I mean this. When I say formula number 2, I mean this. Number 3, I mean this. Number 4, I mean this. Okay, right? We'll just keep referring to this. Again, if you are doing practices on your own, I highly recommend that you write it on a small piece of paper. Okay, or you can use the same practice, you see. After we have done in class, maybe you want to try yourself again. You just take a rough paper and cover the right side. Then you try to see whether you can do on your own. Then if you want to check the answer so convenient, you can just open and see what you have done in class with me, right? So I highly recommend you write it on a small piece of paper, then you can keep referring, or just refer to your exercise book or the notes here also can. Okay, keep referring to these notes. Right, so starting with the first question. Okay, first question, usually I won't give you too hard one. Let's see. A car accelerates at uniform rate from 5 meter per second to 30 meter per second. So the front one is U, the behind part is V. Okay, in 5 seconds. Calculate the acceleration of the car. Okay, the car is accelerating. Why? Because accelerate means what? Speed up, speeding up. I can clearly see that it is speeding up because the velocity increased, right? So at first it is 5, and then it becomes 30. In how long? In 5 seconds, right? So you want to look for, in part A, you want to look for A. Okay, let me teach you which formula to use, how to see which formula to use. Okay, A is also involved in this question. So you see, you ask yourself, what are the things that are involved in this question? You got U, you got V, you got T, you got A. What is not involved? What is not involved? S is not involved. You look at this list, you already know, oh, all these things got S. That means S, and then you don't see S here. S is not involved. So you go and cross out those that got S, got S, got S. What is left for? The first one. Okay, that's how you see, because you, in your formula sheet, also the same one. And they won't ask you so many of these questions, maybe one only, maximum only. Maybe first exam a bit more, I'm not too sure, but SPM, I'm talking about SPM, maximum one only. Okay, because there's so many chapters, they cannot just ask you 5 questions from here, right? Maximum 2. Okay, so you just look at it, look at your formula sheet. Okay, of course, you have to write down number 3 on your own in the formula sheet. You cross out all the one that got S, which formula to use? Number 1. Okay, number 1. Number 1 has 2 versions. You either use this one or this one. Okay, I think I'm going to use the first one because that one can help me to find A straight away. Okay, so I write down the formula that I'm using. V is 30. You use the second one also can. Okay, you use this one also can. The V equals to U plus 80 also can. But I think that one a bit longer because you have to move things around. Okay, A equals to V minus U over T. Straight away can get the A already. Okay, we're going to repeat the process for B and C. Okay, we're going to repeat the process for B and C. Okay, I feel like I'm writing a bit too big. I scared no space for part C. Okay, the velocity of the car. We want to know what is the velocity of the car after it accelerates uniformly for the first 2 seconds. Write down the obvious stuff first. Write down the obvious one first. T is 2 seconds. Okay. Also write down the one that you want to find, the velocity of the car after. That means that is the final part after. Okay, and what is the U actually? Okay, the U we are going to use 5. Okay, I know some of you at this point will be like, Why in front here got one V, and then now part B asking me to find another V? Okay, it's because of this 5 second and 2 second. So I want you to think like this. You have a journey, right? Okay, a car moving. At first is 0 seconds. Okay, at first is 0 seconds. We want to know what is the velocity at 2 seconds. Okay, just now that 30 meter per second, right, is the velocity at the 5th second here. Okay, wait, I think I shouldn't use all blue. It looks very confusing. Let me show you some magic. Let me change color. Okay, yeah. So just now the velocity, right, 30 meter per second is here, you know. So right now, I don't want to consider the whole thing from 0 to 5 seconds already. I just want to consider this part. Right? That's why for different sections, your final velocity and your initial velocity may be different. Okay, maybe I consider this part then different again, right? So we can cut the journey into different sections and analyze the smaller sections individually. Right? So you need to be smart lah. If they talk about 2 seconds, we are looking at here only. That's why the U still is 5, but then the V cannot take 30. We need to look for it again. The acceleration, right, is accelerate at uniform rate. That means the acceleration is the same throughout, you know. Okay, which is the answer in part A. That's why you can use the answer in part A. Right? The car accelerate uniformly. Okay. From the first second until from the 0 second until the 5 second, acceleration is all the same one. Okay, so now again, you look at all these 4 unknowns. What is not involved? Okay, you also need to put down the one that you look for, or else you will have one missing. Okay, must always have 4 things there. Must always have 4 things. If don't have 4 things, then go and read carefully and look properly. Make sure you have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, because the 5th thing that is missing, the S, we can look at the formula sheet again. Number 2, this person got S, don't want. This one got S, don't want. This one got S, don't want. Okay, all good. We know it's the first equation. Which one to use now? I will use this V equals to U plus AT. Okay, both also can. But I'll use that just because I'll get V straight away. Okay. Make sure your unit is correct, meter per second for this case. And so I'm trying to go a bit slower here. Make sure you are okay with how I deal with what equation to use and all. Okay, I hope you are comfortable with that. If that has been your problem, I hope I have solved it. Last one, the distance traveled by the car in 5 seconds. Write down the obvious things first lah. Like for example, you know distance is like displacement like that. So S is what we are looking for, displacement. And then T is 5 seconds now. Now they are back to, they are going back and forth. Now they are back to looking at the whole journey. Okay, now they are back and looking at the whole journey. So if you want, right, you know this space down here, maybe you can draw this simple little diagram so that next time you refer back, you know what's going on now. Okay, at 2 seconds, the velocity is different one. This one is at, we just found out is 15 meter per second. Okay, this one we know is 5 meter per second. This one is 30 meter per second, right? So it depends on which time you are looking at. Okay, which means the U is equals to 5 meter per second. We actually have the V also, which is 30 meter per second. Okay, but I think don't need to use that also can. You have too many info because you still have the A also. Okay, so you don't want either one of it lah. Either one of it you don't want. Okay, because got too many already. So depending on which one you are using, let's say you don't want to use A, you use V. Sorry, I thought I had 4 earlier. V is the 4th one, my bad. A is the 5th one. Okay, so let's say I use the one that don't have A. Okay, I use the one that don't have A. You want to cross out this one and use the A one also can. Okay, but let's say in my equation, I got STUV. So you look at the equation, got S, got T, got U, got V. And then all these things got A1, which is, you see, I also don't have A, then don't want A, don't want the A. Equation, which one? Equation number 3. Okay, equation number 3. So, as you write equation number 3, right, try to practice also at the same time to remember the formula, right? So you think like this displacement, equation number 3 is displacement equals to velocity times time, but because I cannot take the whole velocity, the front or back velocity, I have to take the average. That's why it's u plus v over 2, or 1 over 2u plus v times time. Okay, but you would have written this at the front of your formula sheet already. Okay, you can type this whole thing out now. 1 over 2 times 5 plus 30 times 5. That is, you're using the old calculator. If you're using the new calculator, then 1 over 2 like that. $87.5 meters. Okay, the car has traveled for 87.5 meters. Okay, Ken? Okay, can I move on? I shall move on. Okay. Right, next question. 1.13. Toy car starts from rest. Rest is a very important keyword, right? Remember just now, you look at this table, I wrote here got some important terms that you should know. Okay, these are some of the important terms that you should know, especially the double star one. Okay, resting, stationary, they like to use rest. Rest means velocity 0. Okay, starts from rest. That means at the beginning, it is resting. Okay, travel for 6 meter. That is 6 meter means displacement. And then T is 2 seconds. What is the acceleration of the toy car? Acceleration. Okay, so you have 4 things involved, including the one that you are looking for. 4 things involved. Okay, got 3 is given one, and then the 4th one is the one that you are looking for. The 5th one is the one that you don't want, right? So you see, don't want anything that got V. So got V don't want, got V don't want, got V don't want, got V don't want. Left who? Number 4. Easy not? Okay, that's why refer, and then you see which one don't have V. Okay, don't go and kill yourself and memorize and then use your brain to try to get it. Very hard one. Why you torture yourself? Okay, so S equals to UT plus half AT squared. S is a 6, U is 0 times T 1 over 2 AT squared. Okay, so this one is 6. This one is 0 lah. 0 times T is just 0. You don't need to write as you can. The 1 over 2 times A times 2 squared. Instead of times A first, you can times these two together. 1 over 2 times 2 squared. Okay, type in your calculator, that is a 2. Okay, 1 over 2 times 2 squared, that's a 2. So A is equals to 6 divided by 2. Okay, A is equals to 3 meter per second squared. That's it. If you are done, can you try 1.14? Okay, please try 1.14. Once you're done, you can refer to my formula on the screen, or you can just look at the formula in this table here. Where I put here. Okay, the admin just asked me, right? What is the, I think one of your parents wants to pay fees earlier or something like that. And then next, our free lessons, right? I know, of course, I hope if you can continue lah. But if you don't continue, I cannot force you. If you feel like the class is not for you, you're at this point of your life where you need to make the best decisions for yourself. So if the class not helpful, okay lah, don't join it. Okay, if you find the class helpful, then you continue, right? Like I said, do what's best for you, not for me. Do what's best for you. Okay, you're at this point of your life where you have to make good decisions for yourself. So if those of you who think you want to join next, continue after the free class. The free class is until 9th of June, right? The fees, right? The fees, I would just put like a lower number because in June, that means we have supposed to have 3 paid lessons, okay, on the 16th, 23rd, 30th, if you are joining up, okay, if you are joining. So for June, hold on. For June, you let your parents know that there will not be package price for physics. Okay, so let's say if you are taking AdMaths, okay, let's say you are taking AdMaths. AdMaths is 75 ringgit, 75 ringgit. And then let's say you are taking chemistry. Okay, then you will make it 70 already, right? Because of the package price, 2 subjects. But let's say you are taking physics, okay, my physics class. If you have decided to take my physics class, it will just be flat 45 ringgit. Okay, although it's 3 classes, it's supposed to be more, but never mind. It's not going to affect your other subjects, just for June. Okay, just for June, everybody, if you are joining, is just 45 bucks for that 3 classes. Okay, for that 3 classes. I know it's slightly cheaper, but I just don't want to mess up the other subjects. Okay, I just don't want to mess up the other subjects. Okay, so yeah, it's slightly cheaper already. I think a lot cheaper for 3 classes. But I just don't want to mess up the other subjects and make it difficult for the admins. So if you want to make any payment earlier, that will just be 45 ringgit flat for physics. It's not counted as one of your package subjects. Okay, in July onwards, then yes, you can count. Okay, then the fees would be normal already. Okay, 1.14. Have you gotten your answer? Let me quickly write. The particle starts from rest. That means the initial velocity is 0. The body reaches a velocity of 2. Okay, thanks, Zach. T is 4. And then for part A, we are looking for the acceleration. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't have S. Cancel out the S, S, S. First formula. Okay, first formula. So that would be A equals to V minus U over T. You can use the V equals to U plus AT also. Yeah, you're right, Zach. 0.5 or 1 over 2. So usually in physics, we like to write in decimals. Okay, then the distance traveled. So now I don't want A already. For part B, I want S. So you look at the ones that don't have A lah. Don't have A, don't want A, don't want A, don't want A. This one. Okay. Actually, you use A also can, then you will have too many info already. So you maybe might want to take out one of it. Right? For this case, I just don't take A lah in part B. You times all together, you will get 4 meters. Okay, you times all together, you will get 4 meters. All right. Okay. Yep. Sadly, it's time already. Can we just do one more, very quick one? Azmi rides a bicycle at a constant acceleration of 2 meter. Oh, can you change? Got a typo here. This is 2 meter per second squared. I just realized. From rest meaning what? From rest, that means at the beginning it is already at first resting. Okay, so A is equals to 2, U is equals to 0, and then it will reach a certain velocity of 12. Okay, it will reach a certain velocity of 12. Calculate the distance traveled by Azmi. Calculate the S. Okay, calculate the S. So A is equals to, there's no pi, S. Okay, so we look at this formula. Don't have what? Don't have T. I don't want T. All this got T. I don't want. Don't want. Okay, so only formula is number 2. See, I hope I've made your life easier by doing this. Sometimes it's just simple things like this that helps us a lot, right? Because trust me, I was once a student, once like you. I've been stressed out before about what do I do if I don't remember the formulas and things like that. And no one told me that's not given. Well, at that point, no one told me it's not given. And nobody told me that you can just cancel, and then just get that last one that you have, right? So I hope it helps lah, because some are the things that I didn't get as a student last time. Now I hope you benefit from it. Yeah, passing on the knowledge. Yes. This is the S, by the way. I know some students say my S look like a 5. Okay, so okay, I don't write the 0 lah. Okay, so S is equals to 144 divided by 4, 36 meters. Yes, good job, Charisha. Okay, so can you guys also try this one as your homework? Okay, you have quite a few very short ones, short homework questions. So just take the chance to go and try yourself. Put some effort lah. If you feel like you are not very good at this, right? Then you try and see without my help whether you can do it or not. Because the question just like that only one in your exam. Okay, I know some students, they even say like, hey teacher, your questions like very easy. But who told you that all the questions will be came up, right? These are already good enough for you. Okay, I usually don't give you things that they don't really ask in exam, because what's the point then? Okay, I give you what is enough or slightly more. I don't give you too much. Okay, it's not within what you need to know lah. That's why I would choose I will limit what to let you know. Okay, because that is all within your syllabus. All right, so if all is good, you can go. Okay, thank you so much. If got any question, okay, Trisha say you can understand it very much better now. Welcome. I'm glad to hear that. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you all next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Welcome.
Teacher, do you mind if I ask you a question from my school?
Yes, sure. Maybe I stop the recording.
Right,